Hey everybody, Andrew here, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to say thank you so much for being such great listeners. We really appreciate you coming back and listening to what we have to share with you and the rest of the community. And also as a reminder, if you have a moment and you could, it would really mean the world to us, take a moment and write a review. Wherever you're listening to this, if you could write a review on that particular platform, it would really help us out tremendously. But more so than helping us out, it would also help out any prospective and future listeners too. By sharing your thoughts and what you honestly feel about the show, it can help guide them in terms of deciding whether or not this is something that would be valuable for them. So if you think that it would be, please, wherever you're listening to the podcast, write a review. It'd mean the world to us. And again, you're not just helping us out, but you're helping everybody else out too in the community. So again, just wanted to thank you all for being such great listeners. And with that said, let's get right to the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Indie Game Movement, the podcast that talks about the marketing and business of indie games. I'm Andrew Pappas. I'm going to be your host today, and this is episode 137, where we're going to discuss how to execute some Killa crowdfunding. Preparation and execution are everything when it comes to running an effective crowdfunding campaign, but very rarely do we ever get the opportunity to have a first-hand account from someone who is right in the heat of the moment. Thankfully, our guest today is willing to share everything with us in a two-part episode, starting with their process in planning a non-conventional crowdfunding campaign right to the moment during the middle of it all. Between sharing their experiences to date and the emotions that come with it, our guest is able to provide a fresh take on what it takes to execute a Killa crowdfunding campaign. So that's what we're going to be talking about right here today on Indie Game Movement. Hey everybody, and we're back, and I have Mikhail from Mythallica, right? Did
Yes,
I get that right?
You got it. That's it.
Awesome. And, I'm just going to let him get into it because he has a really interesting game right now that he has been developing for a while and whatnot. And Mikhail, please just share us what that game is, but also what you do for Mythallica, and also like share some more insight about, your personal life in terms of what hobbies you do and other types of stuff when you're not making a game.
Definitely. Well, as you said, my name is Mikhail, Mikhail Sebastian. I go by Mythallica on all my social medias.
Nice.
My company and studio is also Mythallica Incorporated. I've been doing this for a very long time. I graduated from SCAD back in 2014 in illustration, my BFA. And then ever since then, I just kind of been really focused on building up my own IPs. Nice. One of which, of course, being serial killers. And so, I've been working towards just doing that for the past 6 years. We've been working on serial killers actually for the past 4 years. So that's kind of just really been my goal ever since I graduated from school. When I'm not drawing, I put it like this: when I'm not drawing for work, I'm drawing for fun. So
nice.
Usually what I'm doing is probably still drawing. But outside of that, I like to go to the gym. I like to stay fit. It's probably like the only time I'm actually active and not in front of a computer working. So I feel like that keeps me somewhat, healthy. And before all this craziness with the pandemic hit, I used to love going to the movies. It was just like a good, relaxing time to get away and trying to just, get engrossed in stories that would inspire me to come back home and make my own. So, yeah, other than that, if I'm not drawing for work, I'm drawing for fun more often than not.
And what are you like? Give us an idea of what you draw for fun.
Ah, man, like I do so much like contract and freelance work to the point that it could really be anything. Like I could just be sketching and it could be fun. It's just anything that's non-committal. Like I don't have to, it's not something I have to turn in by a deadline. It's considered fun for me at this point. It's just the freedom to just draw, which is very rare these days. It's rare I get to do that. So when I do, it's always nice. But usually when I do have free time to draw, it's probably catered to fan art. I like to show love to some of my favorite shows when I can.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that too. If it's not committal or something, then it could still be the love of the craft. But when it's not committed to something, then it's even a little bit more love. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for providing that introduction. And you know what? We're going to take things a little bit further with the Q box round that we have. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Q box round, it's just a series of random questions we prepared for Mikhail to kind of like get to know him a little bit better. And Mikhail, what we were looking for from you is just quick answers. And if for whatever reason you need to elaborate, please do. So are you ready for the Q box round?
I'm ready.
All right. Excellent. All right. What was your favorite Saturday morning cartoon as a kid?
Okay, I got a list of cartoons. Pokemon, Freakazoid, Animaniacs, Sonic X,
Nice.
Yu-Gi-Oh!, Beyblade, Ninja Turtles, Gargoyles, Rugrats, Cubics, Martin Mystery, Totally Spies, Wix Club. I know, it's a little dated. I used to love Wix Club. I don't know why I used to love it.
So you really like Saturday morning cartoons?
Just a little bit. You know, man, just a little bit. And this one wasn't a cartoon, but I loved it. Power Rangers, like, come on, it's Power Rangers, man.
That thing is still going on because my son watches that. And
man, it's still going. Like, and I just heard that actually randomly they're starting like a new cinematic universe that's going to link TV shows and movies and stuff. So it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
I wish I came up with that franchise, and it's still just as cheesy as it was the day it came
right?
out. All right, cool. If you could be any animal, what would it be?
Probably some kind of bird, maybe an eagle, because an eagle gets like protections from the government. That's pretty sick for an animal. You can't mess with an eagle. The government's like, no. So I'd be down for that. But if not an eagle, probably like a wolf, because I think wolves are pretty cool.
Okay.
I always love wolves.
And you're based in the United States, correct?
Yes, I'm in North Carolina.
Okay, cool. Yeah. It's funny, for some quick history lesson for some people out there that didn't know this, originally the American bird could have been the turkey, which is...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was Benjamin Franklin. Yeah, Benjamin Franklin said that one because he's like, I won't go into the history of it. It's worth looking up, though, if you are curious. But yeah, it almost was a turkey, and I could only imagine what the holiday in the U.S. Thanksgiving would be like without turkey.
Does that mean in an alternate universe we eat eagles for Thanksgiving?
I don't know. It could be. Who knows? All right, cool. All right. What's one thing that motivates you every day?
Man. God. The thoughts of crushing my enemies. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, like my family, my friends, people who follow me and support me, like that really keeps me or gives me a reason to like get up every morning and make sure that I'm, giving as much as I can to whatever it is I'm doing. Cause there's a lot of people rooting for me and, I don't want to let them down. So.
Yeah, no, that's a good one for sure. What's one of your childhood fears?
Terrified of the dark. But then
really?
Yeah, but then I had like this logic. I had like this kid logic that I kind of still have. So I don't know if it's kid logic anymore. It used to be that, okay, if I fall asleep in my room and it's completely dark, like to the point where I can't even see my face, then I can't see the ghost. And if I can't see the ghost, then I can't be scared. You can't be scared of what you can't see, right? Yeah. So that kind of helped me get over that. So even to this day, I sleep in complete total blackness. Like,
so you just face the fear. That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's the only way to do it, right? It's the only way to do it.
That's a good one. I never figured that out as a kid. It's like they had to be on, right?
Oh man, yeah. But my mom's was not having that. She's not my light bill. Turn them lights off. So I had to adapt.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, cool. What's your favorite breakfast cereal?
I'm from North Carolina, so a big cereal here is Frosted Flakes, and we like to put like extra sugar. This is the South, everything is sugar. Everything is fried or sugar. So we like to put like extra sugar on top, maybe like some cinnamon on top. You feel a little spicy for the special days, But yeah, Frosted Flakes or like honeycombs. I used to love honeycombs when I was a kid, but then they like changed the texture and then made it worse, and then they changed it back and made it good again. So it's been an up and down roller coaster with honeycombs, but I used to love honeycombs.
Awesome. That's great. And last but not least, a staple here on the show is, what game are you playing right now?
I'm currently playing, I went old school because I've been studying a lot of fighting games. So I'm like pulling from my childhood of like, what's the games that I really loved as a kid and why did I love them? So I've been like really studying those. So right now I'm playing Dragon Ball Z Shin Budokai 2 on my PSP. So that's been having a lot of my attention. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I've never had a chance to play that, but like all those Dragon Ball Z games look pretty sick, and I just, for whatever reason, never got into them or even just played them once, but they do look amazing, so that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for diving into some of those. It was definitely a lot of fun, a lot of childhood stuff there, and I'll be honest, everybody, I kind of purposely tailored those a little bit because what we're talking about today is a really interesting subject, mainly around Mikhail's game, Serial Killers. So, but our discussion for topic today is how to execute a Killa crowdfunding campaign.
Nice. Puns.
Right. Puns. Exactly. And I just want to provide a little bit context there because I know in the past we've talked about crowdfunding campaigns with other guests, but this one in particular is definitely different. And how it's different is right now as we're recording this, and even as you're listening to it right now, Mikhail's campaign for Serial Killers is live. And at the time that you're listening to this too, there is I believe there's going to be about just over 2 weeks left of the campaign. And this is something different that I wanted to do. I know I probably mentioned this at the beginning of the show too, but something I wanted to do because this will give us a real good, live, fresh take on what Mikhail is actually going through. And everything from the development and planning of the crowdfunding, and right now in the moment, like the emotional aspect. What is he going through? What kind of shifts is he making and everything else? And I did say part one. So Mikhail is actually going to be coming back to the show later to discuss the results of the campaign and probably revisit some of those questions we asked today, so that way we can get more insight in terms of, okay, how did he shift from that and everything else. So that's where we are now. We're here in the moment. The campaign is live, and I'm going to kick it off, Mikhail, with this one, which is kind of an important one for to get some context and understand. And what was the main reason you decided to use crowdfunding for your game, and also another thing, because most people, I would think, that maybe I'm just biased to this, but think of Kickstarter as the main one to go to, but you're on Indiegogo. So I'm curious, what the main reason was you decided to use crowdfunding, but also why Indiegogo over other platforms?
Yeah, well, my team and I, we knew from the start that we knew the concept that we had on our hands and the potential that it had. And, we looked at, various different campaign sites to try to figure out which one we felt would be best for us at this stage. And of course, Kickstarter was among some of the first that we mentioned in the early stages of planning the campaign. However, we felt, if we were aiming for a Kickstarter, we would prefer it to be for the full game rather than just for a demo campaign, which, we admit is a bit unconventional for projects like this. But personally, we had got to a point as a team where I had been paying for everything out of my pocket. And, I work freelance. I work, contract jobs when I can get them. But that is something that was kind of slowing down the process for us. And it was actually prolonging the process of creating the game. So we just kind of figured, we know the potential of this idea. We've seen the response of the community from the character designs alone. There is a support system here, and we just, really had to figure out how we could tap into that and just kind of approach it in a way that was just like, if they want this game as much as we do, maybe they wouldn't mind contributing to the completion of at least a demo. In our minds, it was more of a minimal commitment, and it was enough for us to handle things on our end post the campaign when we seek out and actually post the completion of the demo build when we seek out publishers and publishing deals and start pitching it around. So we figured as long as we had a solid demo, it would make it easier for us to branch out and kind of take it from there.
Yeah, no, and I like that a lot too, because like you said, this concept, this idea is fairly unconventional, which I would say it is, because and from my experience in working with other devs too, I have